He said, my doctors are astonished. Spent $1 million in the last 10 years. Incredible. He conquered his high blood pressure. He conquered his diabetes. Just with these simple lifestyle changes. What an amazing body we live in. So what did they do to get heart disease to reduce? Stop the fat. Has it helped? No. Stop the butter and eat margarine. Has that reduced heart disease? No. I know, put everyone, as many as possible, on cholesterol-lowering medication. Has that stopped heart disease? No. It's still the #1 killer. Your brain loves fat, it loves cholesterol, and the fattiest and highest cholesterol food on the planet is breast milk. Are they going to ban that? And a baby's having heart attacks? The baby must have that, otherwise the brain won't develop properly.
How high blood pressure is destroying lives and what you can do to stop it. Did you know that nearly half of all adults live with a silent killer? It damages your heart, your brain, and your life without you even feeling a thing. But what if I told you there's a way to stop it before it's too late? High blood pressure, also known as hypertension, kills millions of people each year, which is more than all infectious diseases combined. Every minute, someone dies from heart failure linked to high blood pressure, and most of these deaths could be prevented with early action. Stay with us to uncover the shocking connection between high blood pressure and heart failure. But before moving on, let me tell you Dr. Barbara's real patient story.
So let me tell you about Bobby Lieberman. He was a man in his 60s who came to our health retreat in Alabama. He said, I've spent $1 million on my health in the last 10 years. Not hard to do in America. He came to us, he was a little overweight and he was in a wheelchair. You see, recently the doctors had cut out some lymph nodes in his groin to try and find out why he had diabetes. I don't understand that. But because he'd flown to us, his legs were all swollen. He was in a wheelchair. He just spent a lot of money on expensive bandages. He was on medication for blood pressure. He was on medication for diabetes, 90 units of insulin a day, short and long acting. He was on cholesterol lowering medication. He was on blood thinning medication. So when he came to us, he said, anything you say, I will do.
From near death to a full recovery, how simple changes saved this patient's life? I know you're thinking about what happened with that patient. Did he survive or did he die?
So I said, you won't need the bandages. And I got him to walk barefoot on the grass every morning. Wonderful exercise for the feet. I got him to get on the rebounder for 1 minute every hour. It's the best lymphatic cleanser and mover, and that swollen legs were lymphatic fluid. He started to eat a very low carbohydrate diet. So what did he eat? Number 5 and 6. He ate high fibre. Where's your high fibre? All your plant foods are very high in fibre, particularly the vegetables. Generous amounts of protein. So every meal he had some legumes, he had some nuts, and he had some seeds. And he had healthy fats. What are healthy fats? They're fats as they came from the hand of the Creator. So there's your nuts and your seeds, and the 2 oils that are extracted from the flesh of the plant is your olive oil and your coconut oil. They're concentrated foods. You don't need much. Had a little bit with his milk. And basically all the food he was eating was low GI foods. So instead of potato, he'd have sweet potato. Instead of banana, he'd have cherries, grapefruit. He was very excited because he didn't use his bandages all week. He was starting to walk more and more. He was with us for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, he was on 10 units of insulin instead of 90. Just incredible. He emailed me 3 months later. He said, I'm off all my medication.
Luckily, he survived by making simple changes. He walked barefoot on grass, used a rebounder to boost his health, and switched to a low-carb, high-fiber diet. In just 2 weeks, he saw significant improvement. 3 months later, he was off all medication. If he could turn his health around from something that seemed impossible, you too can get fit with small changes in your routine. But here's a question. Why does blood pressure matter? And how can it lead to a heart attack? The silent threat. How high blood pressure can strike without warning. Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the walls of your arteries as your heart pumps. It's measured in 2 numbers. Systolic, the pressure when your heart beats, and diastolic, the pressure when your heart rests between beats. Blood pressure can be too low, too high, or just right. Low blood pressure, hypotension, can reduce the flow of oxygen and nutrients to vital organs, making you feel dizzy or faint. High blood pressure, hypertension, on the other hand, is a silent danger that causes long-term harm to your body without obvious symptoms. High blood pressure happens when your arteries lose flexibility due to damage or buildup of fatty deposits, making it harder for blood to flow smoothly. This extra force puts a strain on your heart and blood vessels. Over time, it speeds up a process called atherosclerosis, where fat and cholesterol form plaques on artery walls. These plaques make arteries narrower, restricting blood flow. The real danger happens when one of these plaques cracks or breaks. Your body treats it as an injury and forms a blood clot to seal the damage. However, this clot can block blood flow entirely in the affected artery. If this blockage happens in an artery supplying blood to your heart, it leads to a sudden heart attack. If it occurs in an artery to your brain, it causes a stroke. The sudden nature of these events is why high blood pressure is so dangerous. It quietly damages your body over time, and one moment of stress, exertion, or even rest can trigger a life-threatening event like a heart attack or stroke. Taking steps to manage blood pressure is crucial to avoid these outcomes and protect your heart and overall health.
So most people have cereal for breakfast. We know because there's a whole aisle devoted to it, and also bread. There's a whole aisle devoted to bread. And if you go into the supermarket and see a whole aisle devoted to something, you've got a pretty good idea that it's a hot topic, eh? It's something that a lot of people buy. And cake shops abound, cakes, biscuits, so we'll say cakes, etc. And pies, Australians love their pies, pizzas. Italians have introduced Aussies to pizza and pasta. I'm a 5th generation Australian, Scottish descent. I didn't know what pasta was till I was about 18. I don't think there's a home without pasta today. Rice is another carbohydrate. I'm married to an Irishman, so every main meal must contain potato. And last and certainly least in nutritive value is the pure crystallized acid that's extracted from the sugarcane plant. Would you agree with me? Aussies are high carbohydrate consumers. Now, all of these foods in the gastrointestinal tract, which I will show you tomorrow night, they break down to a singular structure called glucose. So when these foods get broken down to glucose, the glucose gets into the blood, and then it goes on the main highway straight to the project manager.
The surprising dangers of eating too many carbs, and the main reason behind weight gain. Many people eat carbs like cereal, bread, and pasta every day without thinking twice. While these foods may seem harmless, a diet high in carbs can harm your health. Over time, it can damage your liver, cause weight gain, and even lead to blood-related diseases. What feels like a simple diet can actually be dangerous in the long run. So, always try to eat a low-carb diet or at least reduce your carb intake. Fasting after a week can also help. By avoiding carbs, you'll have less fat in your body, meaning no excess weight. Without that extra weight, you can exercise better, run, walk, and jump with ease, boosting your blood circulation and heart strength. These simple changes can improve your heart health and keep you safe from blood pressure diseases.
So the first place that the glucose is sent is to the cell to be burnt as fuel. That's not a surprise. But on a high carbohydrate diet, there's still a lot of glucose left over. And so now the liver causes some of it to be stored in the cell like a little bunch of grapes, but they're little molecules of glucose. And they're stored there for when we need them. And they're called glycogen. Glycogen is a name given to quick-release glucose stores. This explains why when you wake up in the morning and do your morning exercise, you don't need to eat first. You will get energy because inside your cell, particular muscle cell, there are little molecules of glucose just waiting to be plucked when the need arises. But on a high carbohydrate diet, we've still got glucose left over. And so now the liver causes that excess glucose to be stored in the most amazing fuel depot in the human body, fat. And on this high carbohydrate diet, what's happening to Australians? They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Fat doesn't make you fat. I've just given you the basic science here. What makes you fat? It's the glucose. It's the carbs.
Simple steps to protect your heart: diet, exercise, and gratitude and golden tips. But which diets and actions can help thin out blood and protect us from high blood pressure? First of all, let's talk about salt.
Out of the cell. You see, the highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium, and the highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. So when these are taken in these high amounts, it causes an imbalance. The doctor's right. Table salt will get the blood pressure up. And so will no salt, because your cells need that little bit of salt. So my suggestion is to take the Celtic salt. The Celtic salt contains 82 minerals, and the Himalayan salt, it contains 75 minerals. One of the beauties of the Celtic salt is it has 3 magnesiums, and magnesium is a muscle relaxant, and magnesium relaxes that heart at rest. Dr. Lee Langry is a French doctor who's written a whole book on salt. If someone comes to him with high blood pressure, he puts them straight on Celtic salt.
Maintaining a balance of minerals like potassium and sodium is essential for healthy blood pressure. While too much table salt can raise blood pressure, completely avoiding salt can also harm your cells. Natural salts like Celtic salt and Himalayan salt are better options as they provide essential minerals, including magnesium, which relaxes muscles and supports heart health. If you're not used to salt, start small and gradually increase it for a balanced approach. Apart from salt, exercise is crucial for maintaining a healthy heart, improving blood circulation, and preventing blood pressure issues.
As important is exercise. Specifically, the high-intensity interval training. The high-intensity interval training are intervals of high intensity. So the high intensity, most of the research shows 30 seconds. That's not long. Did you try it today? Most of the research has been done on exercise bikes. Exercise bike's easy, you're holding on if you're a little unstable. If you've got knee, joint, ankle, hip, the exercise bike is a lot easier. We went cycling this afternoon. Such fun. 30 seconds high intensity and then a recovery time of about 90 seconds, and that is usually done for a cycle of 6. That's your ideal. If you can't do that, that's perfectly fine. Just work up to it. If your high intensity is 7 seconds and if your recovery is about 10 minutes, that's perfectly fine. You just start with where you're at. Now what this does, it increases the circulation of the blood to the skin in a mighty way, but not only the skin, to the pancreas. It increases the circulation of the blood to the heart. It actually strengthens that heart muscle. And when you do the exercise, you cause the blood to come out to the extremities, which takes pressure off the heart. And it strengthens the heart. So you cannot conquer high blood pressure unless you exercise.
Exercise is important for a healthy heart. Simple activities like walking, cycling, or using an exercise bike help improve blood flow. High-intensity bursts of exercise, like 30 seconds of effort, strengthen your heart. Start slow and increase as you go for better results.
Your cells are reviving and recharging while you sleep. And the hours of power are between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. These are the hours your batteries recharge. These are the hours that healing intensifies. This is the hours where your brain does a little bit of house cleaning. So conquering anything in your body, no matter what it is, it's important to sleep in those hours, except for this week.
Sleep is also a main factor for healing any diseases. Your cells recharge and heal, especially between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m., which is crucial for recovery and brain function. But what if you can't sleep easily, or you are facing problems in your sleep routine?
Can't sleep? Just lie there, have all the light. There's one thing that will stop you sleeping. Two things, actually. Blue light, screens. Don't allow yourself to touch them in those hours. You've got study to do. We'll do it at 3 in the morning.
Other blood thinners and best practices for blood pressure patients. Other blood thinners and best practices for blood pressure patients include drinking plenty of water. Start early and sip throughout the day. Cayenne pepper is another natural blood thinner, more powerful than many medications. But always consult your doctor before using it, especially if you're on blood thinners. Additionally, nose breathing helps balance important blood gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, supporting overall heart health.
But first of all, blessed blood thinner is water. Oops, come over here. Water, and that should be 8 glasses a day. 8-ounce glasses. Start early, little by little. Are you going to bed with water next to your bed? Pardon? Great. Who's the winner when you do that? We are. Also, cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is quite a powerful blood thinner. It's far more potent than rat poison, warfarin. That's what it is. And if someone is on warfarin, hopefully you're not, because it's a very dangerous drug. One man said to me his nose started bleeding, and every time he brushed his ham, it started bruising. He had bruises all over him. I said, you can stop it straight away as long as you I would take a capsule of cayenne pepper a day. If your body's handling that, go up to 2 capsules 3 times a day. In fact, you could take a bucket of cayenne pepper a day and your nose will never bleed. You could take a bucket of cayenne pepper a day and you will never bruise. But I don't know anyone who has a bucket a day. Let's just go back to the capsule, or 2 capsules 3 times a day. They're powerful blood thinners. Breath. Breath can make a difference. How does breath make a difference? When we breathe through our nose, we balance as blood gases. What are the blood gases? One blood gas is carbon dioxide. You can have too much carbon dioxide and you can have not enough carbon dioxide. And what nose breathing does is it keeps the correct balance of carbon dioxide.
And in the end, always be thankful for the little things in life. One lady once said she had nothing to be thankful for, but I pointed out she had 2 legs, while I met a man with none. There's always something to be grateful for, like a comfortable bed at night. In Africa, kids in an orphanage were happy just to have a bed, even without a pillow. Always remember, it's all about perspective.
Lights off, and thank God for all the wonderful things in your life. One lady said, I haven't got any wonderful things. I said, I notice you've got 2 legs. I met a man with no legs. There's always something to be thankful for. And I'm sure you sleep in a comfortable bed every night. You're not out in a ditch and it's pouring rain and a car just ran over you. There's always something to be thankful for, isn't there? My friend's got an orphanage in Africa. When we visited a few years ago, I said to the kids, do you like it here? They said, yeah, we've got a bed. A bed. They haven't got a pillow, they've got a bed. They're so happy.
To keep your blood pressure healthy, try eating fewer carbs like bread and pasta. Use natural salts like Himalayan or Celtic salt instead of regular salt. Eat plenty of fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. A Mediterranean diet with healthy fats and lean proteins is great for your heart. Also, foods like leafy greens can help reduce inflammation and keep your blood pressure steady. It's easy to overlook the little things that make life better. One woman once said she had nothing to be thankful for, but I reminded her she had 2 legs, something many people don't have. It's all about perspective. Just like the kids in an African orphanage who were grateful for a bed, we should appreciate the small things we often take for granted. Now it's your turn. Take charge of your health. Start with simple changes like eating better, moving more, and managing stress. If you found this helpful, like, comment, and subscribe for more health tips. What little things are you thankful for? Share with us in the comments below. Stay healthy and take care of your heart.